by the Senate Minority Leader, Senator Biodun Olujumi. Mr. President, let me say,
order please, order.
Let me say from the onset that the social intervention program of this administration is computer-based, very transparent. For the first time in the history of Nigeria, a government. Mr. President,
Order, please.
I thought,
Order.
Mr. President, for the first time in the history of social intervention program in Nigeria, we have a foolproof system that anywhere you may be in Nigeria, from whichever part of this country you could be, you would apply online. Mr. President, we listened. I don't want us to go this line, but if our colleagues on the left-hand side, if the minority party feels that we should not be listened to, that will be unfortunate. Mr. President, what she showed is certainly not true. Let me say that so far, no, not
The leader, Mr. President, the motion, there is a motion on ground, and that motion needs to be seconded before a debate can be made on that motion. You cannot take debate before seconding that motion. So we need to second that motion before you can take debate on that motion.
Yeah, Senator Dino.
That for the first time in the history of social intervention program by the federal government of Nigeria ever, that we have a system that is computer-based, that you may come from whichever part of Nigeria. Mr. President, this I want to be listened to.
This thing will be over in a few minutes. Let him finish what he, then we move.
Mr. President, Mr. President, I expect the chair to be party colorless. I expect the chair to be party blind. Thank you, sir. Mr. President, This administration, you know, it's quite interesting. I hope Mr. President, this chamber is not our chamber. This chamber belongs to Nigerians. We are only representing them. If the minority leader could lay claim to certain issues and we listen, I think it behoves on all of us to listen to others, and that is maturity. This chamber, therefore, should be quiet for us to debate this. Everyone should have his say. Mr. President, the social intervention program, which has many facets, has so far been the most successful social intervention program in the history of Nigeria. Mr. President,
distinguished colleagues, let us please let him, so the sooner we move on. Please, carry on, leader.
Mr. President, we have as a country inherited thank you very much. We have as a country inherited, we inherited poverty that the PDP administrations from 1999 to 2015 forced on Nigerians. We inherited empty treasury. They embezzled everything. They squandered everything. Mr. President, Nigerians were impoverished, and therefore it became necessary to entrench a system under the office of the Vice President, who has shown complete transparency, accountability, and probity in this program. Mr. President, by the way, we were all here when Sure-P or Unsure-P was instituted and all the money in our treasury was stolen. Mr. President, let me say clearly, I have no objection to investigating. I have no objection to investigating what she has raised. But what I want is for the minority leader or indeed any other person in the chamber to take this and turn it into a partisan political football. Mr. President, I want to convince everybody here that those Mr. President, let me tell all of us here that what we have there. Order, please. Order. What we have there is not a matter that we need to fight over. It's an allegation, As far as I'm concerned, I know the SUAP failed in the past, and nobody, no matter how deeply partisan that person is, can mess up this so successful social intervention program. Therefore, I want to submit that she should surrender these documents. We set up a committee, or you do whatever you think is in the interest of Nigeria. You do whatever you think as a presiding officer as the best for this country. We cause an investigation, a non-partisan, a party-blind investigation, and I want to assure you that we are going to cooperate. But finally, before I sit down, we have never had a social program that, just listen, that people who are not adherents or supporters or sympathizers of APC benefited even much more than our states. So many states that are non-PDP have benefited much more than our states. And that is to show that we are for Nigeria's interest. All we want is to ensure that those Nigerians who have been impoverished by the previous PDP administrations are revived. With that, I want to thank you for giving me an opportunity.